Contract signed for the procurement of equipment for multi-purpose park houses. Work progresses as planned on the second phase of the Silverlake housing project, and Dominica undertakes a project to revise its laws. Thank you for joining us on another edition of National Focus. I'm the presenter, Kimani.
And I'm Nisha Charles. Stay with us for the details of these and other stories after the break.
Wash your hands. I am Adora Luce, health educator from the Ministry of Health. Proper hand washing protects against the spread of many common illnesses and germs. Wash your hands often with soap and water, or you may use a hand sanitizer. Remember, clean hands save lives. Protect yourself.
A message from the Health Promotion of the Ministry of Health.
Did you know the Caribbean Court of Justice is two courts in one? The CCJ has two functions: an original jurisdiction, which deals with your right to move between CARICOM countries freely and your right to move your money and your business. This is the basis of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, and the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and an appellate jurisdiction to hear appeals from courts of those countries which decide to use it as their final court of appeal and no longer go to the Privy Council. All CARICOM member states who have signed the agreement establishing the CCJ are members of the CCJ.
Welcome back. Construction work on the second phase of the Silverlake Housing Development Project is progressing as planned. On Monday, July 6, GIS News accompanied the Honorable Minister for Housing, Reginald Austri, on a tour of the project site. The Honorable Minister says this phase of the project is yet another demonstration by the Roosevelt-Skerrit-led administration that it is committed to developing the island's housing stock.
Community of Silverlake has several other challenges, and the government has made a commitment to seek to transform that small community with beautiful and lovely people. They didn't create the condition under which they live, and we believe as a government we have a moral authority to assist them in that transformation. And so we see the improvement in the housing conditions as a basic need, which will begin to foster harmony and unity among families and among neighbors. And so we promised them after the first building was complete that we would have in fact continue the housing thing. And what you're seeing there is a clear demonstration of a government that will continue to keep its promise irrespective of whether you vote blue, green or red. Our commitment is to Dominica. And so I'm very, very happy as Minister of Housing to see that work has in fact commenced and ongoing on the second phase.
Work on the project began in March 2015, and manager for the Housing Division, Hilarion Jules, says the division has learned from the construction of the first building, and the second apartment building is anticipated to be even better.
We've had a slight improvement on the second apartment as opposed to the first one, whereby in the first apartment we had 4 two-bedroom units and 2 one-bedroom units at a basement level. But we've decided to improve on that by creating a retaining wall and thus allowing some more space on the basement level to accommodate 2-bedroom units. Therefore, in this new apartment building, we're going to be having 6 two-bedroom units, which is commendable.
Joel says the project has been going very well.
We're out of the basement level in terms of the structure of the building and the block walls forming the external walling and the partitions, and we are now preparing the decking for the reinforced concrete floor slab for the uppermost floor.
Honorable DLP Senator in the Rosewood South constituency, Senator Jaiziah Benoit, says that the housing not only affects the lives of the residents but can have a positive impact on the socio-economy of that area.
It brings to the fore not only the issue of housing but the issue of education, because we are speaking of housing young children. They have a very high population of children attending primary school, and they need that proper environment for them to be able to study hard, to transform Silverlake on a larger scale. And so once again, I just feel honored to be a part of this process that the DLP government is spearheading in the community of Silverlake. Myself, members of the Roseau South Constituency Association, will be taking full ownership of this project, putting in our voluntary time as well to help ensure that this will result in a broader transformation of Silverlake, starting with housing.
The Honorable Senator is encouraging residents to embrace the spirit of ownership as it relates to the new apartments.
Development is a process, not a promise, and I think that the people of Silverlake need to appreciate that this process must be owned by them and it must continue. That is to say, although we are building the second phase, there are also housing needs further within the community. How can we put resources together? The spirit of Kudme needs to remain so that we can address some of our housing needs and our needs in other areas. Basic sanitation and enhancement of the community, again, to provide an environment for these children to flourish. Because building houses is not going to equal development. We need to make sure that we develop the minds of our young people and the spirit of the community so that it can develop into something that can contribute to the national development as a whole.
The Senator also believes that this project has created much needed employment within the Silverlake community. Over $1 million was spent on this project and it is expected to be completed by November 2015.
Better quality of fresh produce is expected to be exported when the multi-purpose pack houses become operational. A critical aspect to delivering on such a promise is the proper equipping of these pack houses. A $1.2 million EC contract was signed on Friday for the procurement of equipment for the multi-purpose pack houses in Roseau and Portsmouth. The contract was awarded to Farmex Technologies out of France.
The list of equipment includes complete sorting and conditioning lines for the dashing and other root crops, battery-powered forklifts, electric pallet trucks, high-pressure washers, industrial skills, gravity conveyors, inspection and packaging tables for the plantains and other crops, and laboratory-type equipment for the pack houses.
According to the Honorable Trade Minister Ian Douglas, the establishment of the pack houses was government's response to the increasingly stringent quality of food safety requirements for export markets.
The establishment of two multipurpose pack houses, one in Roseau and one in Portsmouth, with the support from the European Union, is intended to facilitate the implementation of the Fresh Produce Export Quality Control Act, which we passed a couple of years ago, I believe in 2008. And that act really says that all exporters are to be licensed, all persons wishing to export, like our hucksters and stuff, export fresh produce out of Dominica, has to have a license, and they must state where they're going to be packing the produce. And the pack houses must, of course, if we're going to put those requirements in place for persons using the pack houses, those pack houses must meet the requirements, especially for produce leaving our shores.
In July of 2013, Dominica signed a loan agreement with the Caribbean Development Fund to the tune of $2 million EC for the operationalization of the pack houses. On July 23, 2013, a grant was also obtained for the procurement of equipment and for undertaking remedial works on the facility in Portsmouth. $
1 million EC for the procurement of equipment to go into those pack houses, and 152,000 EC, about 57,000 US dollars, will be spent, like I said, on the Portsmouth facility to do a little bit of remedial works that we need to do to bring the facility up to the standard so that we can put the equipment into those facilities and get the operation going definitely before the end of the year. So we recognize that a great majority of exporters and hucksters need assistance through the provision of adequate facilities if they are to continue exporting in those key markets, because if you don't meet the requirements, you're going to be disqualified. You cannot get into those markets. Produce cannot be sold. Farmers cannot sell to hucksters. And even if you sell to hucksters, they cannot sell on those markets if those requirements are not met.
The equipment is expected to be delivered within 4 to 5 months.
The Ministry of Agriculture is confident that the banana plantlets originating from France will do well for Dominican exports. On Friday, agriculture officials transported the first set of plants to selected farmers in Castle Bruce. The ministry is hoping that in the coming months, the mature crop will be ready for export.
We've made it clear
that the plants we brought in are not black sticker resistant, but they are of the quality that the market requires for export, and therefore of the Cavendish type of bananas. We've been to Martinique and Guadeloupe because we ordered these plants from France, where these same plants are what they have presently, and they are in the hundreds of acres, and they are doing remarkably well. So we know that it has been done, and we believe we will succeed definitely in getting our fruits back onto the European market.
Technical Officer Lench Fevrier says with the adoption of the proper practices to grow healthy crops, these improved varieties will do well.
These are improved varieties. They're still part of the Cavendish subgroup. However, they're more productive. That is, if you do what's right, you take care of them. They're not black silverlake resistant. I mean, everybody keeps asking them, but the bottom line is the market is not ready for the characteristics of black silverlake resistant bananas. So you produce for the market. You produce what the market wants.
You're watching National Focus. Stay with us.
Think water. Think life. Water refreshes, restores, cleans, and enhances growth. Potable water is a benchmark for development. DOWASCO is serious about its mandate to ensure easy access to potable water island-wide and provide sewage services for a cleaner environment. DOWASCO is your water and sewage company.
Welcome back. The Caribbean community is celebrating CARICOM Day today, July 6th. CARICOM Day is celebrated every July 4th, the day on which the Treaty of Chaguaramas was signed 42 years ago. GIS spoke with Dominica's ambassador to CARICOM, Felix Gregoire, about the occasion.
CARICOM Day came about because of the signing of the Treaty of Chaguaramas on July 4th of 1973. By 4 prime ministers: Prime Minister Eric Williams, Prime Minister Michael Manley, Prime Minister Forbes Burnham, and Prime Minister Errol Barrow. Those 4 prime ministers signed the Treaty of Chaguaramas that set up the Caribbean community, better known as CARICOM.
Right.
So every year, July 4th is CARICOM Day. But then, depending on the day when it falls, like it was on Saturday, last Saturday, then the Secretariat instructed that it should be observed on Monday, July 6th, which is today.
So what's the essence of celebrating CARICOM Day? What's happening today? What are some of the activities planned?
In Dominica, we always try to do something to observe CARICOM Day. So this year we have a series of programs to inform people about the various CARICOM arrangements and how they can benefit from those arrangements.
Okay, let's talk about one of the or 2 of those arrangements that benefit CARICOM countries.
Okay, at this point in time, the topical ones would be free movement of persons,
yes,
and free movement of goods. But there are others as well. For example, we have the CARICOM Examinations Council, CXC,
right,
which every student in the Caribbean region would sit. And few people recognize that that is a CARICOM program.
Right, right.
You know, there are a number of other programs. We have security programs where we have regional security force. We all benefit from that. There are a number of programs. We just, Dominica's just joined the Caribbean Court of Justice,
Right,
which is a major organ of CARICOM, the Caribbean Court of Justice. So all these are arrangements in place from which CARICOM nationals can benefit.
Okay, so that was His Excellency Felix Gregoire, Ambassador of Dominica to the Caribbean community and OACS, speaking to us on CARICOM Day 2015.
Dominica will soon undertake a project to revise its laws. As part of the project, participants took part in a 3-day training exercise ending on Friday, July 3rd, to acquire the required skills to undertake the revision process. Addressing the closing ceremony was the Attorney General, Honorable Levi Peter, who says that the revision of Dominica's laws is necessary.
The last law revision was some 25 years ago when the 1990 revised law of Dominica were brought into effect. I think Mr. Harris would have been in an ideal position to tell you all about that event. Obviously, it wouldn't take much imagination to recognize that 25 years without revising our laws, the state of our laws today. I suspect most lawyers will tell you that at any given point in time, they have great difficulty knowing what the actual law is at that point in time in many respects, and a lot of perhaps unnecessary research is necessary. And so even for judges and the courts understanding what the law is, because the law is constantly changing, Parliament is constantly bringing in amendments to establish legislation. And so the law revision exercise will bring into effect some order to our law as it exists, or the statute book as it's frequently called, and I suspect and I would like to hope that we will have an ongoing process so that it's not another 25 years before we have a revision, so that the revision will be an ongoing process.
Legislative consultant Ray Harris says legislative publishing involves tremendous work and dedication.
The crucial thing is that when we're through this whole revision exercise, which is going to take some time, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of pages, just seeing what you all have to do, the other aspect of actually getting in to actual publishing, the reality is I realize what a tedious and meticulous task that we have ahead. But there's nothing like working together, not competing with each other, but working together. Okay? Because at the end of the day, at least you'll be able to say that you've been part of a very important project for the country.
And that's the English segment of the news. McPherson St. Luce is next with Creole highlights.
Did you know the Caribbean Court of Justice is two courts in one? The CCJ has two functions: an original jurisdiction, which deals with your right to move between CARICOM countries freely and your right to move your money and your business. This is the basis of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, and the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and an appellate jurisdiction to hear appeals from courts of those countries which decide to use it as their final court of appeal and no longer go to the Privy Council. All CARICOM member states who have signed the agreement establishing the CCJ are members of the CCJ.
Alors tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non moi c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, le gouvernement Dominique c'est agrément et puis une compagnie française pour porter équipement pour opération multipurpose pack houses. Agrément là c'est vendredi passé en location d'excès en Roseau.
Agrément nous si aujourd'hui ici et puis en compagnie en France. Et la compagnie ça là c'est FarmX Technologies. So you can porter tout équipement pour des pack house nous ni. Gouvernement établi des pack house, yon en Portsmouth et puis yon en Roseau. Et bien ça agrément ça qu'a fait c'est nous déterminer qui qualité équipement nous besoin pour chaque pack house. Et bien valeur équipement ça là c'est plus que $1 million. Et bien ça c'est un grant, un CARICOM Development Fund. So c'est pas l'argent pour payer vivre, mais c'est un grant CARICOM Development Fund banou pour tuer, pour taper, mettre équipement dans des parcs ça là.
Thomas fait parole que ces équipements là qui prend à peu près 4 mois pour installer.
Aujourd'hui, nous avons 3 pour 4 mois. On a nous qui taper compagnie ça en France pour venir Dominique pour installer tout équipement ça là. Nous avons aussi dit que ça nous a fait et puis pack house là. Et c'est un bitin qui plus gros, il y a un plus gros plan nous pour augmenter l'exportation produits agricoles au Dominique. Nous avons aussi stimulé la production de certains produits comme dachine,
comme banane et puis piment. Et bien, nous avons un programme actuellement, il y a autant planter qui fait contract depuis nous pour produire ces trois commodités ça là.
D'autres nouvelles, ministre Constituency Empowerment qui continue de financer le projet tout en pays là. Parole ça là sorti au ministère Honorable Justin Charles. Un programme plumbing qui a engagé jeunesse en affaires salam, qui a pris place en Gouambé. Et puis c'est le ministre Charles, programme développement consacré continue.
C'est pas le reps là qui a décidé ça le fait vers l'argent mais pour moi même en Gouambé moi vais continuer à faire ces qualités programme ça là. So si mon ça fait après ça mon ça fait tiling, si mon ça fait electrical wiring, moi les faire quelque chose avec ces jeunes monde femmes là tout. Si c'est culinary arts, so yo ça apprendre comment faut faire différentes qualités manger, yo ça vendre, n'importe ça yo intéressant en dedans pour nous ça empower yo so that yo même ça ouverti business yo et yo ça travail en les on yo et yo pas ni pour toujours respect pour un monde employ yo ça commencer faire ti travail yo et yo même ça employ d'autres monde.
En d'autres nouvelles, directeur par Dominicien Dr. Carissa Etienne, qui a visité Dominique à une visite officielle le 6 pour le 7 juillet l'année suivante. Docteur Etienne qui a visité pays là, ensemble et puis docteur Godfrey Zoreb, officier par pour Babad et puis Kawaïb. Délégation là qui a arrivé en Dominique samedi, recevait bienvenue hors permanent secrétaire ministre santé, officier protocole et puis officier ministre l'autre pays. Pendant ici, délégation là joint et puis président d'excellence Charles Savren, acting premier ministre honorable Dr. John Colin McIntyre, ministre l'autre pays, honorable Senator Francine Barron, et puis ministre santé, honorable Dr. Kenneth Darrow. Dr. Etienne aussi visité Wan Santé La Plaine, à Lady, et puis aussi un monde à l'âge Wan Salah. Dr. Etienne qui a aussi une discussion et puis ministre santé, qui a concerné bagaille santé, et puis support technical par pour Dominique. En discussion et puis cabinet, aussi conférence média, qui a aussi point place mardi. Visite là qui culmine et puis une petite réception en bas patronage ministre santé honorable Dr. Kenneth Darrow en l'occasion président en Ozo. Ministre santé bien plaisir pour visite Dr. Etienne. Et puis finalement division jeunesse bien plaisir programme plumbing qui ministre constituency empowerment qui engage jeunesse en constituency Gouambé. Parole ça là sorti horde officier qui est responsabilité pour ça faire jeunesse en Wansala. Monsieur Julian Paquet.
Par le nous, honorable Justin Charles, il vient faire des discussions avec Youth Division, avec il dit nous quand il y a le prévu, il fait cette équipe de taper glow, avec une taper prévu bien rangé, avec il dit il y a des jeunes hommes et jeunes filles en de constituency là, capable de tête mon montine bord Dieu pour elle a Gouambé même dans le village là aller même et c'est une négociation là qui venir ensemble nous tuer comment pour ça fait plumbing so yo aller faire travail c'est quoi apprendre ça faire travail là yo aller bokai les monde et manger plus vite ces monde so les monde qui still n'est privé tout vous parlez avec ça le premier ministre a dit il est tiré bagaille tout privé tout ça là elle va mon flushing toilet caillou elle va Gouambé ça prend place actuellement et le ministre Justin Charles qui a fait avec gars collaborer et puis Youth Division pour faire ça travail et nous avons des jeunes nous presque nous 10 dio et nous aller tous les 10 là aller apprendre pour faire promener les fini nous aller en place là c'est qui a commencé aujourd'hui qui finit en septembre le 30 septembre et il n'y a pas de travail pour faire.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en Creole pour à présent. Non moins, c'est McPherson Luce. Au revoir.
A tip on how to play your part in slowing down climate change. Coming up next.
Did you know the Caribbean Court of Justice is 2 courts in 1? The CCJ has 2 functions, an original jurisdiction, which deals with your right to move between CARICOM countries freely and your right to move your money and your business. This is the basis of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, and the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and an appellate jurisdiction to hear appeals from courts of those countries which decide to use it as their final court of appeal and no longer go to the Privy Council. All CARICOM member states who have signed the agreement establishing the CCJ are members of the CCJ. You're watching GIS.
Ever wonder how your tiny carbon footprint really impacts the big picture of climate change? Though you might feel like your lifestyle is insignificant compared to things like oil extraction or vehicle emissions, the choices we make in our day-to-day life, how we get around, what we eat, how we live, play a major role in slowing climate change.
Here is one simple tip. Eat wisely. Buy organic and locally grown foods. Avoid processed items. Grow some of your own food and eat low on the food chain. At least one meat-free meal a day, since 18% of greenhouse gas emissions come from meat and dairy production.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm.
Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow our Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News Desk, I'm Nisha Charles.
And I'm Kimani. Thanks for watching and join us again next time on National Focus.